Hiya, it's Victoria. It has been forever since I've done a YouTube video, but I am back, at least for one video, probably a lot more, but I'll try to keep it more consistent. Before we start and talk about serious stuff, outfit first, obviously. So, this is the outfit. Skirt is Ann Taylor, nude hose, nude heels. Top is Lululemon. Necklace is from a friend. Earrings, Value Village, and of course the glasses, they have to be there. So, but before we start again, just wanted to do a brief update on my life. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please follow. It's almost.instant.victoria. And you can find out, I keep more of that definitely more up to date, and you can follow me there. But YouTube definitely is something that I've been trying to get into, even though they won't give me the stupid AdSense thing approved. I have no idea why. It's probably some anti-trans thing. Anyways, so today I wanted to talk about definitions of terms. I was thinking like definition of identity and definitions of gender, at least from my perspective. I am not a doctor, so nothing I say is gospel, but it's at least how I understand it. So first ones that I think we'll start with the most typical, and then we'll work our way around. The most typical identity is obviously cis. I think it's a Greek word, but it's CIS. It stands for somebody who was born a guy and lives their life as a man, and someone who was born female and lives their life as a woman. So this is the most typical or most common identity. It's pretty much the large majority of the population. The next one, one that is close to my heart, is transgender. So I am trans. I'm a trans woman, and someone who is trans is someone who is born with one gender, or sometimes known as being assigned a gender. So I would be known as assigned male at birth. And as I got older, I lived with a lifetime of dysphoria. And eventually I kind of realized that what the dysphoria was actually this Victoria trying to scream her way out of Victor's body. So that's what it is. So I am a trans woman. I now live my life like this as a woman, and I've changed everything about myself. Boobs, bottom surgery. Legally, I'm Victoria. I was born, like my birth certificate even says Victoria. So I am fully done, and still transitioning, obviously, because I'm still on hormones, but nonetheless. Another one that is very common is NB, and it's actually non-binary, but no one says non-binary. They call it NB, like NB, but just a short form as NB. So someone who is NB is someone who is maybe born a boy or born a girl, but they don't want to live a stereotypical identity as that boy or the girl, and they don't want to really fit into the binary at all. So they're non-binary. Binary meaning boy and girl, and they don't want to necessarily fit into either category. Sometimes they may fit in one, sometimes they may fit in the other, sometimes they're in the middle, and they choose to disregard the binary, and they choose to do whatever they feel like doing. So it's its own identity. So it's not really someone who's trans, it's not someone who's cis, it's someone who really doesn't fit into the binary at all, and therefore they're non-binary. And this is an interesting group because no non-binary person really kind of looks the same. You can't really tell at looking at somebody that they're non-binary. They could be presenting as female, they could be presenting as male, they could be presenting as female one day and male the next, or at least that's how you perceive them. For them, they're doing what works for them. So this is a totally different thing than trans, but some people who view trans as an umbrella term, also NBs also kind of fit under that category. So those are probably the three biggest ones that I can think of. And now let's talk about sexuality. There is obviously heterosexual. That is the most common. Now, heterosexual people are a guy who likes a girl or a girl who likes a guy. I don't think I needed to say that, but just in case. Anyways, The next one is lesbian. Lesbians are two women who love each other. Gay also generally can be considered two men loving each other, but it's also kind of sometimes seen as an umbrella term as well. So lesbians often call themselves gay. So this is why LGBTQIA, that's why there's all of the words. So lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, and there's a whole bunch of other ones that I don't know all of them, unfortunately. I'm not the most versed in all of the other ones, but nonetheless. Then there is a whole subgroup called asexual. A short form for asexual is ace. So if you see someone say that they're ace, what they're really saying is that they're asexual. And now within ace, there's a whole bunch of degrees. Some people are, I'm not sure, there's gray romantic, there's gray sexual, there's a whole bunch of different ones. So maybe some of them don't really like to have sex, but some of them do. Some of them like intimacy, some of them don't. So again, this is another group where there's a lot of differentiation even within people who consider themselves asexual. Bisexual. Now this is an interesting group in and of itself. Some people consider bisexual and pansexual synonyms. Some people do not. A bisexual person is someone who could be a woman identifying as a woman, and they like men and women equally. They may like them differently. For example, one of the big misconceptions is that someone who's bisexual likes men and women 50-50. And that's not really true. That's probably the large majority not true. Many bisexual women actually, what I've seen, and at least from my experiences and from what I've heard, many bisexual women, they may be mostly considered heterosexual, and they may be like bi questioning or so on and so forth. Sometimes someone can be like 98% a lesbian or 98% straight, and then they've just kind of got like a small, tiny little piece of gay in them. So they may be a woman who has a relationship with a man, but nonetheless, and she may have only relationships with men her entire life, but may still be attracted to women, and that doesn't really take away her bisexuality. She still can be considered bisexual. From the outside, many people would look at her and say, oh, she's a straight girl. But that's not always the case. And that's one of the things that exists, is that there's this thing called bisexual invisibility. So lots of times, people who are in heterosexual relationships, they may have an inkling for someone of the same sex. Could be a guy, could be a girl. Guy who's bisexual may be in a relationship with a woman, but every once in a while he likes to have some fun with a guy, and vice versa. It can work the other way around as well. So it can even happen where someone who's like a woman who's in a lesbian relationship, but she may also like men, but again, it looks like from the outside that this person is a lesbian. So there's lots of bi invisibility. People who are bisexual very often don't look like they're bisexual, because you can't look at someone and say, oh, you're bisexual, by who they're with, because unless it's a girl with a guy on one end or a girl on the other, you would have no idea. So that is definitely a bisexual issue, that there are lots of invisibility, because sometimes people just don't want to say, well, I'm bisexual. They don't want to walk around with a little sign on their forehead that says that. So, I mean, I totally understand that, but it is something that is much, 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 much more common than I think the general population even realizes. And many times, because of all the homophobia that exists in this world, lots of guys, for example, who may be bisexual, they don't share because they don't want their bros to make fun of them or, be called gay. And another thing that bisexual men deal with very often is lots of women, for example, won't date a bisexual man because they think it's a sliding scale towards gay. And now that's been proven to be totally false. there actually is bisexual men, just like there is bisexual women. So that is kind of, in a nutshell, basically, at least from what I can think of off the top of my head, the different identities, the different genders. There is a lot more, but this is probably the biggest collection of them so far. So I'll leave the video here, at least that part of it, and I'll just tell you a little bit about what's been going on in my life. It is January in Canada, which means it is freezing outside. I've been running outside because the gym's been closed and it's reopening now in a week. But some really big news for me, I am writing and compiling a collection of my best Instagram posts and pictures. And also I had a photo shoot, professional photo shoot, and did a whole bunch of pictures, and the photographer and I have whittled them down from 1,600 to 200, and now it's going to be about 10 or 12 pictures, and that's going to be in the book as well. And then in about a month's time, I am doing a big time photo shoot, well, maybe big time for me at least, and there's going to be a calendar. Can you believe that? So I'm going to see if I can make this calendar. It's going to be very LGBTQ friendly. It's going to have all the dates, you know, it's going to have Harvey Milk, and it's going to have all the dates, anything that's to do with LGBTQIA, and it's going to have all the dates listed, and yours truly is going to be in all the pictures. So I'm very excited for that, and you'll be, once it's all done, I'll give you all the contact information. The photo shoot's in a month, which means it's at least a few months till it's all said and done, and I can give you that update. But I'm very excited because it feels like, for me, like really like such a huge deal to go from a big lumbering Serbian dude who was 42 years old when I started transitioning, and to get to be a calendar girl. So if I sell one calendar, I'm officially a calendar girl. So I'm gonna buy one, so at least I can say that I'm a professional calendar girl. If I sell a couple more, that's really awesome. So that's the update, and I will let you know when all that stuff's done, but the coffee table book and the calendar and all that stuff is like, seems like it's forever away, even though it's all kind of in the works at the moment. So anyways, I just wanted to say hi and love you and talk to you soon. Bye.